Hello, you guys. This is the Pretty Coach, also known as the Pretty Coach Oracles here. This is Jude from Facebook, and I'm actually coming I forgot one more, and Pretty Tarot 555, as well as Manifesting Naeem on Instagram. Both of those were my two Instagram handles. Okay, so you can also follow me on Twitter as well at the Pretty Coach 55. I am coming today because I am finally about to make my video about how I manifested the space that I'm in. So there will be mess ups. I'm not the bomb at editing yet where I'm going to be able to do little cute things. So this is just going to be raw, real, uncut, okay? So I do have some notes here for myself so that I can remember what I want to say. All right, so let's see. So one of the first things that I did in order to manifest my apartment, I do want to go on record by saying I feel like I have been manifesting my apartment for about a year. Um and I say this in retrospect, but at the time I would say that I manifested this apartment. If I wasn't considering where my mind was months prior, then I would say that I truly, let me put it like this. I feel like the process of the manifestation was a little longer than what I first acknowledged. But when I finally got clear about everything and I made it a point where I knew that I was going to go ahead and purposely manifest this, then that's when I say that it was manifested in about 5 months. Give me a minute. So, yeah, I say that because a year prior to me, and maybe not even a full year prior. It was probably, I would say, anywhere between 6 to 8 months prior. I was in a relationship where I was considering myself to be married to this man because at the time I was I was coming to the end of my journey with the so-called Hebrew Israelite, um I'll just say association. Okay. So, yes, I was a part of that understanding. I feel like to a degree I am still a part. The parts that I still see and hold as truth, I hold on to that. And the parts that are not true for me, I have let go of. Okay, so that'll be a whole nother video if that's even something that you guys would be interested in on this channel. Now, this is a channel where where I want to host and I want to have spiritual conversations, and I feel like that would actually be a great idea to talk about. So I might just make a video about that at some point too. My experience um, with the Hebrew Israelite religion. Okay. Anyway, I was in a connection in a relationship where again we had agreed to be husband and wife. In this time around, because this wasn't my first time being so-called in a committed union in this religious um, structure, this was actually my second time. The first time something happened, and so I learned a very valuable lesson, which was, making a vow or a commitment by word is binding in the eyes of the Most High and also in legal grounds in certain cases. However, having a document, a written document that is signed by both parties as well as other witnesses, and then of course going through the proper steps to have that notarized is also legally binding. Okay. So that first time I had to learn all of these types of things about the importance and significance of vowing ourselves to other people and all that type of stuff. The next go round, when I was wrapping up healing from that connection, another man did come into my life. And at this time, I'm still definitely, I'm a person who's very loyal and I prefer to be in committed unions. Um, I'll just put it like that and I'll leave it at that for now. Maybe we'll have a conversation about what I'm learning about myself when it comes to relationships at another time. So I entered into this union. I do feel like for another video, I will say that there were some things and there were some reasons that I entered into that particular union um, for that were not, I feel, maybe the purest. Okay. So what I feel like that lesson for that connection, and maybe even the one prior, was about trusting my intuition, trusting myself, becoming a person who is self sufficient, self sustaining, you know, can stand on my own 2 feet. Where the hell are my eyes going? They're going weird places. I feel like I'm looking at myself, but my eyes are doing weird shit. But anyway, so I think that both of those unions, when I look back, when I look back at the one that I had just before this, I feel like an element or a dynamic of why that did not work out was also because of self sufficiency. And that was part of what that lesson was supposed to be for. I don't think I had thoroughly learned the lesson all the way through, or there was still yet more that I needed to learn. So, Spirit and I manifested this next connection that I was in. And I do already have, I do have a video about how I manifested. I'm going to have to redo it because I think I was kind of all over the place. I'm going to get a little more focused and I'm literally going to talk about the ways that I manifested my last 2 relationships. And I'm going to tie it to the collective because I feel like this is also ways that collectively we manifest our relationships. That'll be another story, another video. If you would like to see that, then put it in the chat below. And also be sure to give this video a thumbs up if things are resonating with you already. So, long story short, in this last connection that I was in it for 2 years. This man did approach me. I was in a space where I feel like I have finally cleared the energy and really opened myself up for the first time in maybe 2 years, 2 to 3 years. After my last relationship, I was finally opening myself up and saying that, okay, Spirit, I am ready to move on. I'm ready to be open to love, and open to another connection. And I literally did a ceremony and everything for it. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna try to stay focused. I did a ceremony for myself for that. And if you're interested in a story time maybe about that or interested in the steps that I took, leave that in the comments as well. This is all video content that I'm thinking of at this point in time. But I did a releasing ceremony, a cord cutting ceremony for that, and I moved on. Literally, I would want to say maybe 6 or 7 days after that ceremony, my new connection, who I didn't know was going to be my new connection, but the person who was going to be part of my new relationship messaged me all of a sudden. And that was the beginning of our connection, basically. That was the beginning of our relationship. And it started by way of social media. So I have to admit, I had little things that happened via social media, but they weren't really real. It's like we really liked each other and we're really feeling each other to the point to where we maybe said we were in relationships with one another, but we weren't yet. But we were, in a way, like energetically, we were in a relationship. You couldn't tell us that we wasn't. But actually making a real conscious decision to move towards one another, that hadn't happened. So honestly, I had kind of like always been kind of blocked from social media, basically unions or relationships that begin because of social media. I was a little leery about it and I was like, I don't know about all that. Long story short, this guy actually, yeah, he hit me up and we started conversing. But then from there was actual quick ass action that happened. Like we both felt like we knew we wanted to be married. We both wanted something serious supposedly, and we both, I think, in retrospect, were getting over breakups that were kind of painful for us. Okay, so All of that played a part in everything. This was to me more of it is, I consider all unions divine, but there are some that are karmic and there are some that are dharmic. I do feel like this could have been a mixture of both, so this is why I would call it a soulmate union. Okay, it was to teach me something, and there was so many beautiful things that came out of it as well. Long story short, 6 months into the connection, which I share this on a totally different channel that I don't even know if I have access to anymore. Oh my God. But I do have the link at least. I know the name of the video, so I can share that and you guys can watch this video. 6 months into the connection, this man wanted to be, he wanted to actually start a so-called polygynous union. So it wound up being with his ex, though. Okay. A woman who was his ex, his most recent ex. Now, I didn't engage in a relationship with him knowing that at first. I was told that that connection was totally over and it was totally done. If you want to hear about that, I'll put that link in the description. Moving on, as a catalyst, because of that happening, along with maybe one other thing or a few other things, like when my intuition started picking up on, okay, maybe you could have made the wrong choice here, or maybe it wasn't the wrong choice, but you moved um, maybe too quickly, or you fell for the illusion and you didn't look at reality. Okay. These are some of the lessons that I started to recognize very early on into our connection. By the 6 month mark, it was already a problem. Like the problem was full blown. So I'll say maybe 2 months or 2 weeks into the connection, possibly, I just know it's a level of two, I had already noticed um, this is probably not gonna work for surface reasons as well as deeper rooted issues and reasons in both myself and my partner. So I would not blame him or me. It was a lesson for the both of us. But that energy right there about the ex returning, that was a trigger. It was a catalyst for change for me. Um, And so from that situation came a conversation about me getting my own space, having my own apartment, taking a little bit more responsibility and things for myself. Money issues were a problem, as well as me just not being a person who I was codependent. I was struggling with issues of codependency. And so, with that being said, my person was kind of struggling as well to deal with me. Okay. So, with that being said, this is what started me on my journey to begin to want to manifest a space of my own, a place of my own, a sanctuary, a place where I could grow into the woman I wanted to become without anybody else kind of encroaching on me. This man was a very strong man, a very powerful man, energetically, very persuasive, a person who, if you are not sure of yourself, or if you don't know what it is that you want, you and just because a lot of times as women, and when we get into situations where we feel like we're married, a lot of times we will shrink ourselves, or we will put what we desire on the back burner. Sometimes you just really never really knew who you were. You knew who you were to a degree, but you didn't really know yourself. And to be honest, I feel like this is a process and a journey that we all are on. We're always learning more about ourselves, and we change very often. So long story short, with that, I just feel as though, yeah, I knew myself to a certain capacity. As a woman who would be a wife, I had no clue who I was, what I wanted myself to look like as a wife, and all of that kind of stuff. So, with that being said, this began that journey for me. This like shook my ass and was like, okay, what do you want as, what do you want to be as a wife? How do you want to show up in the capacity of wife? And this connection had to, wake me up to this energy. And I didn't know that. So I needed, and he was very powerful and strong. And I was bucking him. I'm like, no, like, and when I say bucking, I mean, there was just something in me that wasn't totally in alignment with what he was. I felt pressured to become and do certain things. And for me, it was so funny. I used to tell him all the time, it's like, listen, the version of me that you want me to be, let me tell you, I actually want to be her, but I don't want to be forced to become her. I want to move at my own pace. And at the time, because I had agreed to be with him, because he had asked me to be with him and be his wife, and it wasn't only because he asked, it was also because of some other things which will come out in another video. If you guys want to see that, I will make a video about how I manifested my relationships. And I think I'll need to put that in there. So all of these triggers, all of these, realizations and aha moments about myself, about him, they are what led me to understand you were codependent. You were trying to get this man to basically take care of needs that you yourself need to be able to take care of for yourself so that you're not at the mercy of anyone ever. And I had just kind of always been codependent. So I always kind of found myself in situations where either I had to get out or I was left abandoned because of codependency issues. So this is where I feel like the manifestation really began. But once I really got clear about what I wanted, so here's what had to happen. I was led by spirit. Hold on, where are my notes? Please don't let me be to accidentally deleted some shit. Y'all, it accidentally deleted. That's so unfair. It's so stupid. How can I undo that? Let's go. Hold please. Go to the trash. They say there are no notes in the trash, so what happened to my thing? Oh, I might have archived it. And here it is, archived. All right, so I'll just read it from here. How did it become archived? Okay, here we go. So, back to notes, shall we? So, when I started to realize that I was ready to get my own space and have an apartment, and when I understood why I needed to do it, Spirit started having me to think about the type of space I wanted. So, that'll fall in the category of what, all right? So, it says, so in my notes, I said, I stated what I needed and wanted. So I said that I needed and wanted my own apartment as a goal to become more self-sufficient, and as a desire to create a sanctuary for myself to practice um, my spiritual practices and to continue to grow that way. So with me and my husband, or me and my ex at that time, who was my husband, or I was living like that. That was what it was in our minds, and what we had said and written and agreed to. All right, you guys. Hello, I am back. Please forgive me for that. So, anyway, basically, once I got clear that I needed to get my own space and why, I started to basically, I just had to say it. I said it out of my mouth. I was thinking it for a while, then it finally came out of my mouth. And that's how it started. So, through what we say, that was the number one, well, our thoughts, and then me actually saying it. That's how the manifestation process began. The next thing that happened was I actually created a vision board. I created one. There was a time that we had kind of like, we didn't split. Like, I just went home to visit my family, but the purpose was to get my mind clear about what I wanted as well, and to see if I still wanted to be a part of this connection as it was, you know. And so while I was at home visiting, which is now here because I'm back home in my city and state, while being at home, I was led to create a vision board. And because at this point I was manifesting and wanting my own space in my own apartment, this is all I was talking about. It was really all that was on my mind, actually. And so when I created my vision board, I knew that I wanted to have a space for an apartment there or a home or whatever. And then I put, of course, other things. So I created a vision board after thinking about it and speaking it out, a vision board. That was in 2019. By 2020, by October of 2020, that relationship seems to have run its course, and we had agreed to mutually and amicably split. So I had to come home. Now I'll say this: I feel like by October I had come back trying to work it out, but by this time things were really just tragic, and I feel like I was just holding on. I feel I wasn't really listening to my intuition as I should be. I was just still holding on, trying to hold on to this image, trying to, I didn't want it to be another failed connection, right? I don't know how many of you guys have held on to things that were really over, or that your spirit was telling you bare minimum, even if it wasn't over, you needed to let go for it now, right? But you wouldn't, because no, but I love this person, or I love, how we are together. I love what we have. It could have been the physical things as well that you guys acquired together. It could be anything. But you were holding on even though spirit was telling you, this needs to go. So that's what happened for me. That is what happened. I had to let go, and it was hard, so I had to have this tower moment happen. It was a series of towers, to be quite honest, but he came to me this time and actually was like, I don't think we're going to be able to make it. And I knew he was right. I've been new. I had said it plenty of times before, but it's just like my feelings for him and my attachment and my codependency issues and just fear all kept me there, in pain actually a lot. But there were some beautiful times too. Long story short with that, October 2020, that ended. He ended it. I was sad about it, but I knew that I had to accept it because I had already felt everything. So I knew it was all real and true. I moved back here just suddenly. He bought me a plane ticket, or did he? Yeah. He paid for my plane ticket to get back to my hometown and city, and I packed a few things up in the car that he had purchased for me during the course of our relationship. And I was going to have to send for everything later, which I had no idea how I was going to do that, because the way that the relationship started, he paid and everything to get me down there. But now, when it was over, aside from that flight, I was going to have to manage to get all of my belongings back to where, no, back home. So I didn't know how I was going to do that. But herein lies part of the power of manifestation. So, next thing, I had to test the spirit. So one of the spirit had truly already been working on me since when I was with the guy, since before the man. Spirit is always teaching us, always trying to get us to learn these beautiful, powerful lessons. It just takes us some time. It takes me some time. I'm not even about to lie to you. Especially when it comes to matters of the heart. My ass just be so damn blind sometimes, y'all. It's ridiculous. My Venus is in Virgo, and plus it's in the 12th house. I will see what the fuck I want to see when it comes to love. I am a sucker. I don't always see things clearly. I live in la la land and fantasy. Okay. So that's something I have to, acknowledge and admit so that I can work on that better. But that's why knowing your natal chart is so important. Okay. But that's for another day. I do those as well. But, anyways, guys, so I knew that there was a lot of changing and the real was coming out and all that kind of stuff. So when I made it back home, Spirit had been dealing with me so much about manifestation and the power of it. And so I had gotten the epiphany that it was time for me to test the spirit. Yes, I did. So that was the next step. I test the spirit. And the way that you test the spirit is actually by putting into action or application the spiritual knowledge, okay, that spirit gives us. So for me, the way that I wrote it is I had put into application the spiritual knowledge that had been flowing through and to me from spirit. So a key thing about manifestation, you have to think a thought. You have to see yourself doing something. So visualizing, meditation, thinking about what it is that you want, why, okay? Not worrying about the how, but why. Why do I want this? Stating that you're going to have it. When you visualize, literally allowing yourself to feel how you're going to feel when you get whatever that thing is. Okay. So in my case, the first time I tried to manifest was getting my car, which had all of my belongings, or a big majority of my belongings inside of it. I had to find a way to get my car from Cincinnati, Ohio to Houston, Texas. I had no idea how I was going to do that. I moved back home abruptly. I didn't have a job anymore. To be quite honest, I wasn't even trying to work a job. I wanted to be a spiritpreneur. And I still do. However, I'm understanding something that my ex had been trying to share with me. And I don't feel that I have to do it this way, but I feel like right now, this is a way that I'm actually desirous to do it at this point. Because now that we have this beautiful space, we have to be able to keep it up, right? So I feel like I'm a person who sometimes I need to have um, something to take care of, or I just need to have a reason for something. Okay. So not that I didn't before, but for whatever reason, I could not see that clearly. Now with me manifesting this apartment, I have a reason to work now, if that makes sense. So the first way that I was testing out manifestation and the power of our minds to manifest what we need and what we want, it was with my car and getting it down here. So spirit, I started I was learning about gratitude and how the way that we actually are supposed to pray for what we want is to actually act as if we already have it, and to thank spirit and to thank the universe for what it is that we desire. Thanking them already. Literally feeling what you would feel like. It's real. Some people may think it's fake or you're lying to yourself, but no. Basically, you're playing make believe, but that in and of itself is the power. You're making something true that you believe. So in this regard, it's making something true about what I believe I need and want to happen. That was to have my car, right? Because in a new city and a new state, well, it's not new, it's me going back home, but I would want to be able to move around, right? I've gotten a taste of being able to drive and be free and stuff, and I wanted that. So that's part of why. If I was going to think about getting my own spot, I was going to need a job, and I was going to want to get to a job. I've already done the bus line. I didn't want to do that anymore. So getting clear about what you want and why, and then speaking on that thing and beginning to call that forth for you, a number one thing. The next thing, see yourself having it. See yourself with it. Experience the feelings that you're going to feel and be grateful for them. And allow that to lead you in your prayers or in your affirmations when you're saying, thank you, Spirit, for A, B, and C. So when it came to my car, for the first thing I had to do was do research on how much it would cost me to get my car down here. I did that. When I saw the median prices, I started to thank Spirit for that money. I kid you guys not. And it wasn't even a full fucking day, guys. I'm getting so hyped. It wasn't even a full day after I made up in my mind that I'm gonna manifest this money and I'm gonna get my car. I first had to get clear about the fact that I really wanted it. And when I did, now it's like, okay, I really want it. So now I gotta commit to this thought. Now I actually have to say for sure, all right. And it's a mind thing more than anything. So once I got clear that I really did want my car and the reasons why I wanted it, I wasn't going back and forth with, oh, this is stupid, this is dumb. It was time out for that. It was, I want my car. Here's the reason why. So thank you, Spirit, for me getting my car down here. Once I researched to see how much it might cost for me to move it from state to state, thank you, Spirit, for setting such and such amount of money. Please forgive me. Talking too fast. But yeah, so I started to claim that daily. Not a day later did one of my supporters from my YouTube channel, who I do all my readings on, the Pretty Coach Oracles, this woman has been a loyal and faithful customer of mine as well, and client. We have a very personal connection, even though we're miles apart, right? It was almost instantaneous. I swear she's my soul family. Right after I made it up in my mind that I was going to manifest this car, that woman called me. And once she called me for a reading, that was $100 and something. To get my car from Cincinnati to Ohio would have been, it was in between $400 and $800. maybe a little more. So I'll say between $400 and $900. So first of all, as soon as I made up my mind, I get an order to do a reading for her. $100 hits the PayPal. First of all, what that did to my mind was like, oh, okay, spirit, I see you moving motherfucking quick. Okay. And that already, it just made me excited. So then the lady called me just to make sure that I saw everything. And she was like, okay, look, this is what I need. We are so cool. We talk like we have been best friends forever. We talk as if she's literally legit one of my sisters. And they know me all my life. Long story short with that. It's not a long story short, guys. It's getting longer. The lady, she asked me how I was doing. I said, do you want the real story or do you want the, you know, the politically correct? She said, I like the real, girl. I like the real. I told her. She said, oh, okay. Before I knew it, my PayPal, she hit my PayPal with $400. Not only did you pay me to do your reading, you hit me with $400 after I told you what I needed. I wasn't asking her for this money. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I didn't ask. I'm not even finna lie. I actually have a very hard time asking for assistance like that. I just really told my truth. And actually, I want to say that it was the first time in a very long time that I was just fucking vulnerable like that, because that's a vulnerable place for me. Long story short, $400 hits my PayPal along with the 100 you already paid me to do your reading. And I always do her readings for her. She's gonna always get a reading every time because we just work like that. So now I've got $500 in a matter of a day. I'm not lying. It was so astonishing and amazing. I was dancing, doing my happy dance. I was like, oh my God, thank you, Spirit. I was like, oh my God. I was so fucking happy, you guys. It's not even funny. So, boom. That's just one step. Off of one step alone, getting clear, which is really dynamic. It's really more than one step, right? You got to get your mind right. Then you got to get your mind. Then you got to actually say what you want. Then after saying what you want, you got to continue to maintain those thoughts, continue to speak it and shit like that and believe that. So I got 500. It's about $900. First, I was told 800. Then I was told 900. So it's like all these different dynamics. Obstacles are definitely going to come up. So that's leading me to my next thing. So after I tested the spirit with that car issue, I had a lot of obstacles that came up with that, but I always kept in my mind that I was going to have my car. So yes, obstacles came up. Not only did that one friend send me money, but when my other best friend, and part of my soul tribe and spirit family, hit me up and she found out what the fuck was going on. Oh, okay. She sent $200. So I did not spend frivolously because I can be terrible when it comes to money. I'm not even finna lie to y'all. I'm finna tell the whole truth. I have been childish with money. I have blown my money. I'm a Leo who sometimes is too generous, so I might give my goddamn money away to people, or I'm going and spending it on whatever I feel is going to make me happy. Ooh, I got to have that. Or I got to, oh, that's going to look so great with this. Whatever the reason is. Okay, listen, I'm just telling my truth. This time I knew, oh, hell no. This money got to go somewhere. This money already spent. That is so not a word. This money is already spent. Okay. So my 100, then that 400. Mind you, it hit a PayPal account that was a business account. So because it was a business account, PayPal like to skim theirs off the top. So $400 that I would have gotten, that would have gotten me quicker to my goal of 900, then dwindled to $350 or 340 something. My feelings was hurt. I was like, oh my God, it say you sent me 400, but I only see. Then I remember, oh my God, this is my business. That's an obstacle, right? I could have easily gotten discouraged, which I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't. Like, baby, shit started to be whoa. It started to be a little shaky, but spirit kept working with me. It was like my spirit guides, they were my coaches. Nope. Don't do that. Stay focused, right? So I manifested my car, guys. With that being said, and when I say I know that it's not just us, it's never just us. Spirit is working on our behalf, and Spirit will influence other people. Spirit will bring you opportunities. I'm going to go ahead and hop on in because we got too long. So after the car, manifested. My car made it to me, baby, all in one piece. The driver was covered and protected because I made sure to speak over that person's life. Everything worked out. I got my baby Sapphire, my 2007 Kia Sportage that my ex did buy for me. And I will forever love him, respect him, and be grateful to him for that. Okay? So Sapphire's in Houston, Texas, and we thank God. We doing the holy or the happy dance, holy dance. And we're happy because wow, as soon as I got clear about what the fuck I wanted, and I spoke it into the universe, and I was grateful, and da 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 da. Then spirit, I'm talking about hopped on that shit immediately. See, and then spirit will bring back for me because I grew up in the church. Spirit tends to bring back scriptures and shit that make more sense. So spirit was talking about how the reasons why a lot of times our manifestations do not work, which is our prayers are not being answered. One, we're not praying right, and two, what we're asking and praying for, we're asking wrong or in the wrong spirit and energy. So they don't manifest. If you don't believe you're going to get it, it's not going to manifest because you're working against yourself. It's doubt. You're saying, I want it. No, I don't. I want it. No, I don't. That's what doubt says. I'm just telling you. Moving on. So we got the car down here in one piece, running pretty smooth. And I thanked the people who assisted me with that. I also kept money from all of my readings that I did to go towards my own shit. So I know somebody might have been listening and been like, bitch, okay, so basically other people paid for your shit for you. Yes, they did help me, but also the works of my hands, I also saved every little bit of money that I got to go towards what I desired as well. Don't ever get it twisted. Now, sometimes, and then many times before, I have been spoiled where spirit will move on people, and I do get things. I do receive whole gifts. And I have had to learn how to receive them because I ain't always been in the energy to receive it. I used to be like, oh no, I'm good, I'm fine, missing out on my goddamn blessing. You lie. Use a lie. I started learning to receive and being okay with receiving. But I also give a great deal as well. So moving on, let's shut up, Judah. No, off on a tangent. So after I tried it that time, okay, and we succeeded, I went on to the next thing that wound up being on my to-do list, which is an apartment. Because I wanted to have my car before I got into an apartment. You got to be able to move around, right? And you have to be able to do things for your apartment, like go get groceries. And I didn't want to have to wait on anybody. And where I was trying to, well, I didn't know I was going to move at first. So I just wanted to have my own car because then I knew I could depend on myself. Remember, most of this is about becoming self-sufficient for me. So I needed to be able to depend upon myself and not have to depend upon anyone else. Not that I don't. I understand that we need each other. We're not islands. But I really needed to become self-sufficient. I already had learned the lesson of receiving gifts and working together with people. It was time for Jude to be on her own. So Spirit worked that out for me. So now I got clear. So that worked. Oh shit. Learned very valuable lessons about focus, about obstacles, about remaining and holding your focus, holding that vision, and not allowing shit that you see, shit that you hear or feel shake that. So, okay, we ain't mastered the shit yet, but we did it to where we were successful. That was powerful. So then I move on to the manifestation of the apartment. Still doing my readings, not saving my money like I was supposed to, girl. I didn't even, and then even it didn't even matter because even if I wanted to save my money, the money that I make from my readings would never have gotten me my apartment. Oh, but thanks be to God and to Spirit and the ancestors for this crap called COVID-19. So those payouts, instead of just being frivolous with my money and like I've been in times past, I'm not judging no outsiders. We're talking about me. Instead of going off and putting my money down on some stupid stuff or whatever, or just going and buying a whole bunch of clothes or buying handbags, perfume, whatever the fuck I would computer, whatever I would have thought would have been important before, I used that money to start looking for an apartment because I was serious. So let me tell you what else aided in manifestation. So I said, getting clear about what I wanted and why. The how is best left up to spirit. That's something I learned too. Sometimes when you try to become too specific, you limit how spirit can move for you. You don't ever want to do that shit. You never want to limit spirit. It is okay for you to be detailed about what type of space you want, maybe, or what you want in your space, but don't do too much detail. Don't try to start talking. You can even say what side of town you want to live on if you want, if you like, that's fine. But don't be so hell bent on those things that when you still are blessed with something, because it might not be in the place that you wanted, or because it may not have some of the things that you may have said you wanted inside, you feel like it wasn't your blessing, or you pass it up. Don't do that. So anyway, I said the how is best left up to spirit, and I believe that. So the next thing I had to learn to do was focus. And so the way that I focused was I literally incorporated both the car incident, I incorporated talking about how I'm gonna get my car back into all my goddamn conversations, seem like. And likewise with manifesting this apartment, it came up in all of my conversations, good ones and the petty ones. Let me tell you about how the shadow side of me helped manifest this house too. So when me and my best friend, sister Claudia, tailored to perfection on Instagram. Y'all go follow her. She's a bomb makeup artist and shit. Anyway, because that's who let me move in with her when I came back down here. So I moved in with her and her family at the time. So long story short, okay, me and Claudette, when we would get into it sometimes or whatever, not real bad. It's just like the normal little sister spat. I'll be like, See, that's the reason why I'm gonna go ahead and get my own apartment. That's why I'm moving out, because you know what? I just need my own space. It's time. It's time. So I was petty. Sometimes it was petty, like even mean petty. But nonetheless, I used every waking moment. Well, not everyone. I was trying not to be annoying, but Claudette will tell you I was probably annoying her ass. But for me, this was about manifesting. This was about putting those principles, those spiritual principles, honey bun and honey star, into action. So, yeah, I was like, see, this is the reason why I need my own apartment right there. What you doing right there? Or when I was told that I couldn't do something because of her own insecurities or her own fears, or her not, like, remember I said this is for spiritual growth as well, and for my spiritual practices. I'm a reader. I burn candles and sage and stuff like that. Claudia couldn't deal with some of this stuff because she pregnant, you know. So she was like, baby, you, and I'm like, see that right there, that's the reason why I need my own space. And so this is how I created focal points, okay? So, and I saw that as transmuting so-called negative energy. Then, of course, I visualized my success. I felt the feelings. Also, one of the other most important things, you got to be able to discern and recognize when the opportunity is presented for you to actually get what you want. You got to recognize the opportunity. See, it's some people who pray for shit and it's stuff that comes in front of them and they miss it because they don't recognize the opportunity. They don't recognize how this is an answer to what they were. Listen, I'm just trying to tell y'all, men do it, women do it, we all do it. With anything, people, places, things, ideas. Moving on. And then also, after recognizing and discerning the opportunity to get what you asked for, taking action. So in my case, um, yes, I would have loved to work for this. I would have loved for my tarot practice to somehow take off and me to get a whole bunch of views maybe on YouTube, or for something to go viral enough to, I would have wanted it to be from my own efforts, but it wasn't. It was presented because of COVID-19. Not only COVID-19 with that $1,200 thing, but there was also something else that was presented with that was $5,000. I got both of those things and I used that money to get my apartment, to pay my apartment up. So I had to recognize the opportunities and I had to take action based upon my focus. So based upon what I'm trying to manifest, I had to use those opportunities to take the action to ensure that I could get what I said I wanted. I hope this makes sense. I also want to encourage people to understand that you will have opposition. So my obstacle for this apartment, first of all, some of the other actions that I started to take in alignment with my manifestations, of course, I started apartment hunting. I started apartment hunting even before the $5,000 opportunity came my way. Before I knew anything about it, the spirit used a sister friend of mine to share that with me. Period. So I didn't even know about that, but I'm already looking online, looking where my budget is, what I feel like I can, do, baby boy and baby girl. And we're apartment hunting. I don't even got all the money to get no damn apartment. $1,000 will be what? With my taste, baby, $1,000 is like rent. Although I also knew that I needed to live beneath my means, below my means. Because really, technically, right, when you're manifesting, you're either you have zero or you're in the energy of, okay, you're in the glass half empty thing or the glass half full. I feel like I'm both. I had nothing. I had zilch. I had squat. Zero. But also in the spiritual, in the way that I view myself, I had everything. And that's how I was able to manifest it in my reality, which is zero, because we drawn from what we do have, which is an abundance in spirit. Moving on. I hope y'all catching these gems. Okay. I know I might be a little unorthodox. I might be all over the place, and I talk a lot. But I'm still speaking facts. So I was already apartment hunting, looking at places, looking at what side of town I felt like I wanted to live on. And I figured out what side of town I wanted to live on. I saw a set of apartments that absolutely spoke to me. They had a few of the amenities that I really said I wanted to have for certain reasons. And this one happened to be on the north side. When I came to this place, this was the only apartment that I was actually able to physically come and see. I knew it was the place I wanted to be. I knew it. The name and everything for me it resonated with my intuition and my spirit. The name of my apartments is called Trails at Dominion Park. Let me tell you what had me going. Really, the whole name had me going because I'm thinking about I want to be surrounded by trees. I want to be in nature because I know that's great for the element of grounding and manifestation. And I need to be grounded. With me being very intuitive and sensitive, I need the trees. Okay. All right. And when I thought about trails, I was like, oh my God, there might be walking trails that are surrounded by the trees. That all excited me. When I came here, also the second thing that got me is dominion. Dominion. I was sold. That was the word that got me sold. Dominion. Then it's 200, the number two. That makes me think about divine union, divine partnership, and all this type of stuff. So there were a lot of synchronicities for me, is what I'm trying to say, y'all. Okay, a lot of synchronicities. So I'm gonna be quiet from here on out. That's pretty much, how it was manifested. To go back over, I had to get clear about what I wanted, why. I had to think that thought, get clear about it, visualize myself in my own space, have gratitude for that, for spirit making that happen for me, and then affirm those things. That's me speaking it all the time. I had to have that in my heart at all times so that it would guide my actions. And opportunities were presented for me to get the money that I needed up because I was not working a 9 to 5. As first of all, I wasn't working a 9 to 5, period. But then COVID-19 hit anyway. Okay. Listen, I was thankful. I was like, thank you, Spirit. I see what you're doing right here. You're giving a lot of people time to get in tune with you. And those who were already working and in tune with Spirit, y'all was just getting blessed. I'm in that number. So so the opportunities flowed my way and I grabbed them. And because I had been putting in effort and work and action, and I had already knew where I wanted to move and why, okay, this is also close to the cemetery that my deceased and departed father is in, who I know is with me. He is definitely one of my spirit guides and ancestors, okay? And not only do I draw off of him, I also draw off of all of my ancestors, especially the righteous ones, the wise ones, okay? But I knew that I wanted to be out in this area because of the trees, because it was away from my family. I love my family, and my family know I put my whole life on hold. It was what I was doing. But I couldn't do that anymore. And I didn't want to be too close to where I could just stay at their house and never get nothing done. See? So I had all of this, I had to know myself. And that's why I did everything I did. And so that's why Spirit worked with me, in my opinion. I truly believe. I moved over here because it was also close to the cemetery. I wanted to be able to visit my father's grave. I know my dad is not there. But just for me, as like a sign of like some action to take. Because I deal with my daddy's spirit all the time, but as an action to take, I wanted to be able to go and visit his grave. I felt like since he's been over there, or since his body, his vessel has been over there, I haven't been over there since the funeral. So I wanted to do that. I had an unction to do it, and I got to do it. I live not even 15 minutes away from my father's grave. I just got a chance to go do that last week for the first time. So it was very important to me. It was also a promise that I made, to him and my ancestors, that if they work together with me to help me to manifest this space, that I would do that. And I did. So the space is here. I'm here. Know that there will be obstacles. There were some obstacles before, like just before I was getting the apartment, right? Um, because I do a work from home position, which is like an independent contractor, it's hard for like to get check stubs and pay stubs, and even harder to really verify them when you're an independent contractor. You work for yourself, so you make what you say you make. Right? Somebody follows. Yes, okay, you follow. And so it's hard for them to verify that, And so somebody was like, they called me. Ooh, they called me and they shook me up, baby boy and baby girl. They shook me up. I was scared I wasn't gonna be able to get it because they weren't gonna be able to verify my income. But when I discerned that that was a distraction, it was an obstacle, it was a test to test my own belief and my own resolve in what I was wanting to manifest and what spirit had already said that they were going to do with me. I recognized that that was a distraction. I had to literally see that the young lady she was the one who was afraid that she wasn't going to be able to verify my documentation with her boss. So she was the one who was scared. She was the one who may have also possibly been ignorant. 5151 on the clock. I'm going to look up that angel number and put it in the chat too. But she was the one who was afraid and scared and didn't know how she was going to be able to say this to her boss. And she called me saying that to me. And what happened was her fear pretty much for like a hot second transferred onto me. And I actually had to call up one of my soul family, one of my girlfriends, one of those same ladies who had given me money towards my car. And she always helps me. Oh my God, it's not even funny. Um, I called her and we always have great ass bomb spiritual conversations. So I called her and I'm like, girl, this is what happened. Da, 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 da. And I was panicking. And she was like, okay, calm down. Da, 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 da. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have said A, B, C, or D, but it's all good. And I was like, you know what? Now that I think about it, I literally had to repeat some of the same things that the lady was telling me. And I'm like, she sound like she's scary. Or she sound like she don't know nothing about, self-employment and or work from home opportunities. And then it hit me. Oh, she's ignorant. And I'm not talking about her, please understand. What I'm saying is she doesn't know how work from home situations work. She doesn't know that they're legitimate, So this was her fear. I'm like, oh, I know they real. I've been doing work from home positions literally for over 8 years, maybe longer than 8 years now. 9, 10 years. So I know that they're real. Other people know that they're real and that they exist. And my company that I work for is real and they exist. Just because you ain't never heard of them don't mean nothing, deal. It's a simple Google search, okay? So long story short, when it hit me that she was just afraid and ignorant, I was like, oh, we're good. And I chose to go with what spirit told me over what could have been happening right there. And sure enough, the next day I called. I did have a little anxiety because I kept bothering that lady. Oh my God, I feel so bad for her now. But and that was actually a message that came through my mom. Like, baby, be patient. Allow, you've done everything that you could do. That was true. That was spirit talking through my mom, of course, as spirit can always do, talk through anybody. Well, I called. The lady did let me know. I had to call her for me to get this update, but she did let me know everything was cleared, everything went through, and that I could move in as soon as, I want to say it was a Thursday or a Friday. A Thursday. I said, okay, I'm moving in Thursday. I actually had seen a model. I had not actually selected my own apartment because the apartment that I got to see that I said I would have wanted to move into, it had actually been, someone had signed the lease on it. So I was a little disappointed, even though I realized now that was spirit working out everything for me to get this space. And that way I can have everything I ask for, you guys. Everything I thank the Most High for. In the first space that I wound up seeing, you guys, it was significantly smaller. Um, I had no space for like a meditation room or an altar space or nothing like that. It was just a very small, quaint one bedroom, which it didn't matter. I was still so grateful and happy for that. I need y'all to know that I was happy for that. Okay. But let me tell y'all what happened. Somebody moved in. I was a little disappointed, a little bummed out. But then they were like, but we have this space over here. Only thing is, it's on the second floor and it'll be costing a little bit more than the last apartment. You know, I don't know how you would feel about that, but it has a sunroom in place of a balcony. We go see the space. I was in heaven. I was in love. First of all, in the other apartment, they didn't have the type of tub I wanted. They didn't have the lighting that I wanted. In this apartment, it was everything that I wanted, with a few minor exceptions. But the majority of things, I got my nice garden tub. I have a place for meditation. Oh my God. Bigger than the space that I would have. Oh, everything worked out when I tell y'all everything that I wanted is manifested. I am here. This is my sanctuary. I am grateful to God. Oh, I'm done, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you for everyone who stood here and or sat, whatever you was doing, however you was doing it. I appreciate your time and I don't take it lightly, but I'm very detailed and I mean everything that I'm telling you. Just trust yourself. Make up your mind. That is the most important thing. But not only do you make up your mind, you have to maintain the mind that you have made up. And after maintaining that, the way that or not even after, the way that you maintain is by remaining focused on your end goal and recognizing what you need, recognizing when the opportunities are being presented before you, and taking quick, deliberate, focused action, and then waiting for the results. This is the Pretty Coach and the Pretty Coach Oracles, and I am signing off, you guys. I might have to come back and do this and make it so much shorter, but thank you to those who watched this version. I love you guys with the love of the Most High. Peace, love, light, and darkness working together to bring balance and harmony. Bye, you guys.